Father Brian, our pastor, will be leading us in worship on this, the vigil of the solemnity of Saints Peter and Paul. And happy Pride.
Good afternoon, my sisters and brothers. It's a joy and honor to see so many people here today on the last Saturday of June. Thank you so much here. It's a very important feast day in the solemnity of the Church, the solemnity of St. Peter and St. Paul. Also, we are celebrating our 15th annual Pride Mass here at the Church of St. Francis of Assisi. "12 years ago, I was asked to celebrate a Mass in someone's home in Queens. It was Labor Day weekend, an annual tradition where priests would say Mass in someone's home, and all the neighbors and friends and gathered around you would be there. Many, many people showed up at this home Mass. And it was a beautiful ceremony, and after the Mass, we'll have a reception, gathered together. One of the ladies I've known for many years just says, Father Brian, come right here. I want you to bless this couple. This lady, she's a Navy lieutenant. She just came back from a second tour of Iraq. And she's here with a partner who's a school teacher who's soon to be teaching in the South Bronx for special needs. Oh, wonderful. Right there, two wonderful young ladies. One just came back from doing a second tour of Iraq. One was there at the beginning of a lifelong career serving the special needs children in the South Bronx. Both courageous ladies. And I blessed them. And we're gathering going on there. And then some of the men of the parish, this was an ethnic community there in Queens. People have been very prayerful, very patriotic, but they had their own opinions about gays and lesbians. We're going on there. Then the men of the parish, some of them were World War II vets, Korean War vets, Marine vets, they met this lieutenant who served in the Navy, did not one tour, but volunteered for a second tour. I'm intrigued by this. Who are you? I just came back. You served our country, right? Yes. And I nearly got killed in both occasions. So all of a sudden there's big changes going on in the hearts and the minds of these men going on there. And then she went up to me and says, Father, I'm having difficulty. I want this catering hall for my wedding for my partner and I, but the team had turned us down because they don't want us. This is the same catering hall that my own parents were married in. They had their reception. What's going on there? I said, okay. So the men of that same group, that tight-knit group there of the veterans, start talking among themselves. Went on there. And the next day, I received a phone call from the lady, and from the lady says, well, something must have made a difference. Says what? Those men of the parish, who we considered homophobic, they went over there and convinced the owner of the catering hall to have allowed this wedding, and they'll help pay for the wedding. If she's willing to serve our country and fight in war, what's wrong for being in love and having a reception in the same place as that? In fact, these men volunteered to serve the food at that reception. Talk of change of hearts and minds and understanding. And where is love? Here in today's first reading, we heard wonderfully the name from Acts of the Apostles. Peter going out there helping people to care for them in dangerous times. They're to help them. As much as the matter is, it was intrigued that there is a bunch of men that needed to be helped that time who had this viewpoints of certain folks like that had a big change in them for the good, a conversion, and love and respect. If they're willing to go to war, what's wrong with them being in love and having that love complete in their wedding reception? Continues on, my sisters and brothers. What I tell you the story is in response to the recent current events that are going on in our nation. Here you have a brave Navy lieutenant, served not once but 2 tours in Iraq, marrying someone, not in the Catholic Church, but want to have a reception in the place of their own parents where they got married in. Married a teacher with special needs, of a heroic virtue that had another easy placing in another part of Queens, a very comfortable sweeper, but chose to be there in the front lines to help educate the necessary and the needy. And I think about that story, matter of current events, what's going on is the United States Defense is now going to be renaming the USS carrier Harvey Milk, withdrawing the name. And I'm saying why. Why are we doing that? Harvey Milk was assassinated for who he's are. But I hope the people there who made that decision will remember this. Harvey Milk, as a councilman and on his own, and he as a mayor, he did a lot for homeless veterans in San Francisco. San Francisco is the place where many Navy ships left. I should know that. My own father left from San Francisco in January 1943 to fight in World War II against the Japanese Empire, and he came back to San Francisco on the same ship 3 years later in January 1946. There are a lot of veterans, Navy, Marines, Air Force, all around San Francisco. And many other officials knew about that, and Harvey Milk went out of his way. You know, that doesn't get the credit, didn't get an award, but went out of his way to help our homeless veterans find a home, get care, and understanding. And now we want to take the name from a carrier. Oy vey. And also what we hear that matters is people of the groups want to say, we want to turn away the idea of what's been 10 years ago, of the idea of the right to marry in the civil ceremony. For people have their own mind like that. Even another National House of Worship say we should overturn this. And I'm saying why? If they love each other, why take that matter if they want to marry? What is going on here, sisters and brothers? It's a civil ceremony. There'll be changes going on there, with changes in those men who changed their own ways to receive love and respect for this couple. And man, we need to have changes going on, love and respect continue on, who are sisters and brothers, the same God.